Oh, hello again. Welcome to another Czech day trip with me, Paul Colto. I've lived in the Czech Republic for 7 years, and there's little I enjoy more than heading out into the nature and getting to know this country and its landscapes. Today I'm going in search of Juicy Lucy, an elusive but beautiful figure. As I head out from Prague on the metro and then the buses, I'd just like to thank those people who left positive comments after the first video. You inspired me to make this trip, so thank you. I disembarked at Nové Strašecí, a town close to Prague, but I had to walk for the first kilometre along this very dangerous stretch of main road, because there was some reconstruction in the town centre. Thankfully it calmed quickly, and soon I came off the main road and started my way down into the forest. One of my favourite times of day on a trip is the morning, which is why I try to go out as early as possible. That crispness in the air as everything wakes up and the sun bursts through the trees. Nobody else around. Glorious. I stumbled on a large lake which had lots of cottages on either side. The house envy at this point was strong. I spoke to an old woman who was carrying a basket full of wood and told her that I was impressed by the name Červený vrch for the camp for cyclists and travellers that I saw a little bit further on. I told her that Červený vrch means Red Hill in English, which is the name of the town where I was born. She told me it was named this after the fish pond at the bottom of the hill called Červený rybník, which means red fish pond. I checked on the map and can confirm that she wasn't lying, and there is Red Fish Pond. I came to my first town, Machets, and noticed immediately a large sign showing that European Union funding had helped construct the sewage system in this town. Of course, a potraviny or corner shop, like in every Czech town. One of my favourite parts of entering any Czech town or village on foot is approaching the church that is inevitably situated in the village centre. The closer to the heart of the village you go, the older and more magical it feels. There was a post office that was open and a pub that was closed. Now, dear viewer, I need your help. What crops are these? They stretched for a very long way, and I saw more crops like this later on the trip. If you can tell me what this is, please let me know in the comments. I was thankful for the shade, because now it was approaching 25 degrees. And on emerging from that forest, I was greeted by one of the best views of the trip. Rolling fields with cows and sheep, beautiful blue skies, trees dotted around, and a calm breeze blowing over the wheat. There were cows with horns, or maybe they were bullocks or oxen. I don't know the difference between bullocks and oxen. If you could enlighten me, please let me know in the comments. My next village that I would visit was called Srbeč. One of my favourite moments, again, turning the corner in a village to see what's coming next, I stopped for some refreshments. This may look like lunch for two, but it was all for me, and I looked at the local church as I ate. More fields greeted me as I left Srbec, and the clouds on this day really were another highlight. My next stop was this village you can see on the hillside, called Mili, which my wife tells me means sweetheart. On my Google Maps, I have a green flag in the village of Mili, which means I want to go. I don't remember who recommended it to me, but I met an old man in the middle of the town who told me that the view from the top of the hill was spectacular, and as I ascended, it quickly became clear why. At the very top of the hill, just after leaving the village, was a picnic table with an incomparable view. Having eaten my sandwich only 15 minutes earlier, I wasn't hungry enough to eat the second one yet, but I had a good look. I sensed that I was getting closer to Juicy Lucy. And after 7 kilometers walking through this little wood, I could almost sense her, like I said. But here you can hear a siren which blares at 12 o'clock on the first Wednesday of every month, and has done for decades. It's a public warning system test, and if any viewers have any more information on why this happens and who it's aimed at, please let me know in the comments. These tall trunks reminded me of something from Middle Earth. And then I discovered this well with a sign that said Pitna voda, which means drinking water, but a small piece of paper above it with a drop of water with a frowning face, which I felt probably meant I shouldn't eat it or drink it, whichever way you take your water. After a customary shot of yours truly, I came across Velký Vilichovský rybník, a large fish pond with not a soul in sight. I could really sense now that I was getting close to Juicy Lucy, and that she was probably only a village or two away. If you like the look of this trip and you'd like to do it yourself, there's a link in the comments below to a map with all the stops I made. These horses bid me farewell from the village of Bilichov as I passed 1 or 2 final fields on this 22-kilometer stretch before arriving in the village of ZICHOVEC. I could tell Juicy Lucy and me were about to get physically acquainted. And so it proved to be true, only minutes later, when I arrived at the ZICHOVEC Brewery. A pivo bus, which means beer bus, was parked outside, and it was complete with beer taps, tables, coasters, and the potential for good cheer and merriment. By now it was 30 degrees, and this 10-degree Czech lager didn't touch the sides. Rings on the glass supposedly indicate a good beer, and of course I immediately ordered a 12-degree beer, slightly stronger with a fuller taste and a more bitter finish. By this point, my hunger was returning, and I noticed on the menu Pivni Syr, which means beer cheese. This is an extremely pungent and smelly cheese mixed with beer, raw garlic, and one or two other spices, and smeared over fried bread which has already been smeared with garlic. It's not for the faint-hearted, and it's an acquired taste, but I absolutely adore it. And accompanied by the brewery's perfect 12-degree beer, it went down a storm. But what of Juicy Lucy? There she is. An absolutely exquisite New England IPA. I bought one large bottle and put it on some concrete as I bid farewell to the brewery and wandered down into the village to find the bus stop that would take me back to Prague. A very tranquil and serene village with a beautiful brewery, and Juicy Lucy herself had been found. I clambered aboard the bus in a slight haze as we passed villages and fields. I disembarked in the village of ZICHOVEC, where I would catch my connecting bus back to Prague. It was a short wait, so I took another shot of Juicy Lucy and some beautiful roses which are still in full bloom here at the beginning of July. My second bus arrived. The duration of the journey back to Prague metro station Nádraží Veleslavín was 60 minutes, and the trip was concluded. If you'd like to recommend a trip for me to do in future, please let me know in the comments. And let's connect on Instagram and Twitter. My handle is Paul Colto. Please do like and subscribe to see future trips. But for now, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Many thanks, happy tripping, and toot toot.